Najee. This is Najee. Okay, so today we're talking about merch. So I have Najee Talks merch, just my normal logo for sale. You know what I'm saying? We got the link in the description. We got mugs, we got shirts, I got hoodies and sweaters. You're gonna see me wearing these from continuing on. May not be any certain episodes coming up, earlier ones, but as they go on and as I do my midweek rants, you will see them. And so if you would like to purchase them, please, it's a description. The link will be in the description, and please support as much as you can. Thank you very much. Welcome. I'm Najee, and this is Najee Talks, where I have a discussion with people and get topics from them under the umbrella of lifestyle. And then I have them come on the show and we discuss said topics. Today I have Chanise Robinson.
Hello. Hi.
Hey. Would you like to tell people about yourself?
Oh yes. So my name is Chanise Robinson. I am from Seattle, Washington. Moved to Los Angeles now. I think going on 4 years.
Okay.
And by day, I work at Snapchat as a technical sorcerer / recruiter. But by night or any other time when I'm not at work, I have my own live events called What's the Word, and they're pretty much panel discussion topics and events for millennials. So we talk about topics concerning entrepreneurship, dating, fashion, politics, finance, whatever you can think of that's relevant to our Black culture and just being a millennial. We have those conversations. So just had an event last Saturday and very excited to have more to come. I also have a women's millennial network called the Ladies Room. So I get women together and have events to bring them together to create more sponsorship, or not sponsorship, more sisterhood. So just excited about that because I really want individuals, women to connect more with one another and not necessarily be competitive, but also just be a little bit more collaborative with each other. So those are the things that's going on right now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
What topic was the last event about?
So the last event was about social media and how to pretty much convert clout into currency. So it talks about, just how to monetize your business, how to use social media, Facebook to do those things. How are we going to expand our reach?
Yeah.
So obviously if you're doing podcasts, how do you go about doing that? How do you get paid sponsorships or partnerships, right? And it was a lot of good information. You got to come to the event definitely to get more, but I had a few really dope panelists. So one from Seattle, Keisha Credit. She quit her job when she was 22 working at Microsoft and then created her own company. So now it's a multi-millionaire dollar business.
Oh, wow.
And multi-venture dollar business, I guess you can say. And she'll be on Shark Tank soon in October.
Oh, nice.
So really successful. Another person named Trail who does these events called Black Excellence Brunch, and he works very closely with Tina Knowles. So that was really good. Another guy named Bryant, who pretty much he created a online media platform called The Good People. And essentially it's changing the way that people view Black men in media. So very positive images of them traveling, them cooking, just doing other lifestyle things. So that was awesome. And then a wonderful girl named Whitney, who's a social media strategist and has worked with big companies and brands such as Levi's. And she used to work for Blavity back in the day. So those were my panelists, and really excited about the way the event turned out.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'll definitely try to make the next one, man.
No problem.
All right, you ready to start?
Yeah.
All right, let's get the first question then. All right. So, would you mind explaining to me, to us, what the first relationship that you had that you noticed growth from?
All.
What would be that first?
Okay, well, now I'm 25. I'm about to be 26 in September, and I've only had 4 boyfriends in my whole life. So first boyfriend was in high school, my high school sweetheart from sophomore year of high school to about almost college. And that relationship, although it was, now looking back on it, very so much probably like puppy love, wasn't real love. It was a very unhealthy, toxic relationship. So it was a lot of infidelity happening in the relationship. It was a lot of domestic violence that took place in the relationship on both ends. So really just, I guess, learning from that situation as a child, which I argue don't be in, obviously, you know, violent situations or people that disrespect you in any type of way, whether it's physical or mental or emotional, right? However, if you are going to experience that, I think it was better for me to have experienced that as a child, more so than an older adult. Because it taught me what I didn't want. In a relationship, it taught me how I should carry myself, the expectations I should have, the standards that I should set for people, and the types of men not to engage, right? Whether, and I can spot it from a mile away now. So those are, I guess, things, you know, being at the time, I think that was my first relationship was 15. I was 15 years old. So, you know, learning lessons and just growing pains, but it's something that now, you know, I don't think I would ever have to experience again because I learned from that.
So for me, my first real relationship was, cause you know, it's like, you know, like you're in like grade school, so it's not like, they're not like real relationships for real, cause it's like really short, but then like I think my like senior year of high school was the only one that was like a longer relationship, but it was long distance, so it wasn't. I mean, I guess people say it wasn't really a relationship, but I guess like to me, kind of I guess the most I had, the best I had at that time. But also it was just kind of like, for me, it was like, I guess like how I was raised. You know, my morals were really off. And then I also was getting a lot of attention that I wasn't used to all my life. And so, you know, of course I did cheat. But you know, my moral compass wasn't going, you know, it was north the whole time. And so it didn't bother me. And so I mean, but of course I didn't, but it was like later on, like after we had broke up and stuff, and I told her later on. But it was a bit of, I mean, after all of it and stuff, then when I was in college, I had some friends that I saw them with relationships, and like I respected them and looked up to them. And so basically, so I had to make sure that the next one I have, you know what I'm saying, I was like, you know, very faithful. So that was like the thing I learned as well. But I mean, but you're young, so when you're young, you don't know these things, of course. And then you get older, but like you said, because the experience you had at that time, it's good that you can learn from that and move on from that.
And I also think, obviously, the people that are around you the most influenced your behavior, right? So you talked about the fact that you didn't really have individuals that were steering you in the right direction. You were getting a lot of attention from different places. So if you don't have another peer or manly fatherly figure or whoever, right? I'm not saying you don't have a father, but whatever person that's really guiding you and mentoring you to how to treat people or that example, then it is hard to be able to act a certain way when you haven't seen that, right? Or it's not the popular thing to do. But as you grow and obviously you evolve and your friends grow and they evolve as well, you kind of are able to learn hopefully healthy habits from them as well.
I'm like a sponge. I just take it all in. Okay, so next question. So, all right, so now, what was your most recent relationship? Like, and what came with that growth?
And so is this past? Are we talking about past?
Most recent.
Okay.
The most recent.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're talking about past or...
No, we're going from high school to like, just like whenever that last one was.
Yeah, so now I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
Or we are in a relationship, but he's on timeout for a minute. But nonetheless, he's on timeout.
I don't want to know.
Anyway, so yeah, but been in a relationship since. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
That threw you off, I guess.
It really did.
Trust me, timeouts are for good reasons. Anyway,
all right, good.
Nonetheless, so been in a relationship for now going on a year.
Okay.
My adulthood has been rough with the relationships past the year mark. I don't know what's. don't know what's going on. However, I think I'm at a space in my life where while I, do love being in a relationship and love, I'm in a place where my priorities are it's not a relationship. It's work. It's establishing myself, whether it be my brand or just establishing myself financially, and getting to a place where, in the next couple of years I can be, grounded and be fully financially independent and have a house and different things like that. So those are my focuses, and I think my strong personality and drive definitely impacts some of my relationships sometimes because I'm not the woman who constantly strokes a man's ego. I wouldn't even say constantly. I guess I need to learn how to do a better job of that. Just honesty, right? It's honesty. But nonetheless, I'm happy with where I'm at in life. So I'm not stressing at all.
Well, I mean, the thing is, at least while you're growing your businesses, your children, and at least you have somebody that's there rooting for you, that's supporting you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's oh man, that is important. Because if you don't have someone like that, it's for me, I got my family and stuff, whatever, but people support me as it is, whatever. But even you coming on the show, that's support, But I mean, at the end of the day, because even the first thing I had with that was the relationship that I said that I began being faithful in lasted long, great, best relationship I've ever had in my life. But I decided to come home for grad school, and she was still in school. But the game plan originally was for her to come out here. And she's from Detroit, but she was like, "Oh, I'm coming out there, probably go to grad or part of job or something." But then there was a summer when she was staying with me because I had to be there for school as a mentor, and she was depressed. And so that messed things up with the relationship. And so she was like, she just was like, I don't want to go to California. So when she said that, I gave up. Because if there's no hope, then it's there's no point in
then why are we doing this?
And so that was the first time I chose to, pursue my, my passions for, the relationship. I mean, because, someone was telling me, it's gonna, because I was talking to, one of the other discussions I had, he's married, and so I was just talking about the whole thing with the marriage and everything, because I thought about getting married with her, but I didn't really care about the marriage thing or whatever. But he was just if you're married to the person, it's kind of changed how you do those things. But if you're married to the person, if we were married, she wouldn't just give up and be like, oh, I don't care about what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? She still would be supportive because it's a different situation now.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. So are you saying that long distance relationship is out of the question for you?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it at all.
So what was the breakup for again? Because she said she was no longer coming to California? That's a long distance relationship?
No, because at first we were going to have a long distance for a short period. Because she was going to be gone. Because it was going to be maybe a year or so until she graduated.
Okay.
So that was the long distance part. And I would be cool with that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be long distance forever.
Okay. So, and you, where are you from?
Here.
You're from here, so you came back here.
Yeah.
But you were in grad school. Where did you go to grad school?
Tuskegee, Alabama.
Tuskegee? Okay. Would you be open to going to Tuskegee to be with her?
She's not in Tuskegee though.
But where's she at?
She's in Detroit now.
Would you be open to going to Detroit?
No, not now.
Okay.
No, because the thing is, my big thing I don't know if you've heard of the book The Alchemist.
Yes.
All right, so that book changed my whole life, my mindset, and so I see the signs and I go for them, and so the signs guided me to be a chiropractor. And so the thing is, the only school that was able to take me and was working with me was the school out here. And so it all worked out because I missed home, so it worked out. I wanted to come home, and I already knew that if I was and I already knew that after while I'm in school, I'm gonna end up gaining networks. I'm gonna build my networking, and then so when I'm done, I'm gonna have these clients.
Right.
So the thing is, there's no point in me going somewhere where I don't know people.
Right.
I might as well stay here because I've been building the network. Because I didn't think I was gonna be doing the acting, the production, and the directing, and doing my talk show and leading a labor team and stuff like that. But those things actually added on to the network because now I have more and more people that are on my list that I talk to. Because I just did a play. It was 5 people, 5, 6 people, 7 people in there. Now all of them, I got at least maybe 4 of them like coming on the show at some point, or they
Yeah.
already did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like every time I do an event, or every time I meet people, or every time I do play, and because like you create those relationships with the plays,
Right.
and so like so then you end up being like, oh, that's like you trying to get on this? Because I'm gonna let him up about it anyway. I'm gonna send you the links, and then I was like, you trying to get on it? Yeah, all right, cool. Like so that's what I do.
The only reason why I ask that question is because I feel like sometimes, I'm not saying this is what you mean, but sometimes with relationships, I feel like men always expect the woman to make the sacrifice. Versus like the man making the sacrifice or meeting them halfway, right? So in this instance, obviously like you guys had a conversation and obviously things changed on her end. However, that's why I asked, like, would you be willing to go to Detroit, because it's also obviously a sacrifice for her to come to Los Angeles, and for whatever reason she didn't feel comfortable with that. However, what I will say is, the universe works out in the way that it's supposed to. And regardless, of whether the relationship is still, like, if it's dead or not, you obviously are where you're supposed to be. Things are happening. So, if it comes back around, great. But if it doesn't, then the universe or God has something greater for you that was bigger than the relationship that you thought you wanted to pursue. So
yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, so at the time, it wasn't like she had something that she was like pursuing.
Yeah.
And so I mean, because the thing is, neither one of us really had anything like that until I eventually got one.
Okay.
And so when I got mine, that was like me going. That's the reason why I was coming back home. I wasn't just coming back home to say, oh, I miss home.
Right.
Because the people do that anyway. But I'm like, I'm home for a reason. That's the only reason why I was coming.
Yeah.
Was for that reason.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm not changing my mind about that. And so the thing is, it's not like she was like, oh, I got my thing going on in Detroit. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? So that makes a difference. And then
you still feel like that wasn't self-sacrificing if she had came, even though she didn't have anything really going on at the time?
I wouldn't like. I feel like. I get what you're saying about self-sacrifice. But
moving across country that's a sacrifice, regardless of whether she had something going on at the time. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I get what you're saying, but
you have to put yourself in other people's shoes as well. However, once again, whatever's meant to be.
But we're still cool now though. Like we're still cool with stuff. We've talked about it, but it's still at the end of the day, it's still like. I still think about it like it's not like she's gonna be coming here or I'm going there at any time.
So you feel like it's
and then she has a whole son now, so it's kind of like she has priorities.
That's
so.
different.
Right, I know. That changes everything.
Yeah, you want to play stepdaddy?
The thing is, but I love children though. That's the craziest thing. I love children.
That's a blessing.
But the thing is, it's like I can't keep a girlfriend to have them.
Okay, so are you figuring out what's going on with you personally, where you can't keep?
I'm trying to figure it, because the thing is, like, so since I've been out here, I've been, a lot. I've been getting a lot of women that are trying to pursue their own thing. And that's kind of the main thing for them, and they just kind of feel like they don't have the time. But I'm willing to man, let's compromise. I'm always like trying to compromise. I'm not trying to be the one to be like, well, I mean, if I'm not getting this amount of time with you, whatever, then I ain't with it. I'm like, no, let's make it work. Yeah. I don't have an issue with it. Yeah. Like, I've had one girl that didn't hit me up like for like 2 days, I think, and then didn't like, and I wasn't really upset. I like kind of knew how she was already. Yeah. We dated for a bit, so I was like, I got it. So it made sense. I was like, I get how you are. It's fine. Just explain what happened and we'll be okay. But she was one who was like, oh, well, I just like, I got a lot going on with the work and stuff. So, I just want somebody. I get a lot of girls are like, you deserve someone that has more time for you. I get a lot of those. A lot of those.
And you going after the same type that you need to
I don't purposely go after them, and now I begin like the older women that are like at the point of their life where, they're barely building up what they got, and they're kind of at the point where they're like, kind of feel like, because of their age, I guess it's kind of, I don't know how to say it, but I was trying to kind of like tell them, I guess. Because you kind of like, I don't know. It's like, you kind of feel like you're like kind of late with what's going on. And
running behind schedule. Yeah,
getting behind schedule with getting that business or whatever situated and doing it. And like, so you're kind of like pushing it more.
Right.
And so it's like, yes.
You want to be a certain deadline.
Yeah. So, that, and then I've gotten like 2 that was like religious based.
Okay, tell me
Yeah.
more. What do you mean?
So I'm not. So I grew up Christian, but I'm not now.
Okay.
And so if
Are you religious at all, or are you?
I practice Buddhism.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say I'm Buddhist.
Okay.
I just I do the mantras and stuff, and it's been helping me out in my life. So I'm a trial and error type of guy.
Okay.
And so if I tried to like from high school that took me to a meeting, and so I tried and I liked it, so I just been doing it, and if I like it,
then you continue to do it.
yeah. But if I like it, that's how I became a vegetarian. So I just kept doing it and seeing how things are going. I've learned and grown from it, so I enjoy it. So I do that. So and so but yeah, they were both Christian, and they were just like, well, if we don't believe in the same thing, then if we don't worship the same thing, I can't.
And that's me. I've cut off a relationship because of that.
Yeah.
It wasn't we never were in the stages of being boyfriend and girlfriend, but we dated.
Yeah.
For I want to say at least for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super cool dude. Still really good friends with him to this day, and I say easily on the top 3 list of individuals that I've dated in my entire life.
Uh-huh.
But he's Buddhist. So when we first started dating, he was atheist, and then eventually he converted over to Buddhism. I think we weren't really talking at that point, but he converted over to Buddhism. And is that how you say it?
Buddhism.
How do you say it? Buddhism. I see my ignorance. Buddhism. So he continued.
This has been a great
this
has been a great conversation so far.
No, so he converted over to Buddhism.
Yes.
There we go. Damn. And I can't do it. I can't do it. And reason being, I think maybe the girls that you dealt with, hopefully they explained it to you, is equally yoked, right? And so furthermore than just, because I'm not the type of person to say, oh, well, the Bible says this, so I'm just not going to do it at all. Yeah. I'm more so a person of, let's think logically about the situation. If you're Buddhist and I'm Christian, it really does start getting down to basic like morals and values. Yeah. One being, let's say for example, if I'm Christian and I love to celebrate Christmas, but you decide as a Buddhist, and I don't think this is necessarily applicable to you, but maybe you or a person who is Jewish, right? They don't celebrate holidays. Or what is it? What do you call that? Jehovah's Witness. Yeah. Jehovah's Witness don't celebrate holidays. So let's use that as an example. That's good. If I'm dating somebody who's a Jehovah's Witness and I want to celebrate Christmas, and then, okay, while we're together and we're dating, maybe it's not a big deal. Right. Maybe you stay at home on Christmas and then I go to my family's house, right? However, when we get married and we have kids, now I want to set up Christmas and a Christmas tree for my kids. Yeah. But you say that you don't want to do that because now the house is divided. It's torn, right? The values are not the same. Now you're having petty arguments about things that really shouldn't be a topic of conversation. So for some people that works. Some people are able to do it, but for myself, I don't necessarily think that relationships like that can last very long.
So my Buddhist friend, she's actually dating a Rastafarian. Okay. And so she talks about, because the thing is, I actually asked her for advice because the first girl that I was having issue with, because we were dating for like some months, and then she eventually started getting back into the church and stuff. And so that's when it started happening. It wasn't like she was originally like it, but she started getting back into it. And so then when it happened, then I was talking to my friend about it, and I asked her questions, so she was like, yeah, it's interesting because it's we teach each other stuff, but then we also disagree on certain things. But then I guess what they do is they'll teach their children different things from each part. But it's cool because I feel like it's dope to be able to, because I love knowledge in general. Yeah. So I'll read certain books and just because the most recent religious book I've read is the Moorish American Quran. Yeah. And so the thing is, I don't read it for the religious parts of it. I just read it for the lessons. Yeah. That's what I'm there for.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Christmas thing, because my family still does it, whatever. But so I've been celebrating Kwanzaa for the past 3 or 4 years. Okay. And then what's interesting is my dom and my mom, they actually have been doing it with me. So I have the candles over there, and I did the candles, and then I have one for my mom. So the thing is, when I did the first time, because it grows every time. And then so my mom, she actually did some research and was like, oh yeah, you gotta put it on the cloth, and you gotta have like some
She
fruit and
supports
stuff
your
there.
decision.
Yeah, she like has it like
That's
right.
good.
Like, I didn't even know. I just had the candles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like well, what's like the events and stuff, and then like even my oldest brother Dave, he'll come to events sometimes, like, and like, oh yeah, like it's like it's like I mean, because it's really dope. And then I just all I really do is just. Because it's 7 days of a celebration, 7 days of each day as a principal.
Yeah.
And so all I do is just like, I'll post up the principles on Instagram and talk about it. And like, so each year is always different, and I express different things because I change every year. But the things, I don't really think of it as like anything like, it's like specific and like, so like, it's like, I think of it, even though people like say like the founder was, I think like FBI snitch or something like that, I don't really care about that. I just care about what's going on. Like, the thing is like,
you're not getting involved in the religiosity of it. You just want to be a part of the spiritual aspect.
Exactly, because I feel like it's better off than Christianity. Yeah. That's why. I mean, I'm sorry. I meant Christmas.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, but I still have. I mean, because I still have family. I still go to family gatherings.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna knock them. Just be like, oh, well, I don't celebrate it. Like, no, I'm gonna go. I love my family. My family always has something, so I always go to it. And I always enjoy myself and have a good time.
Yeah. But there like you talked about, there's a difference between obviously being religious and being spiritual.
Yeah.
So I identify myself as a Christian, but however, I don't necessarily believe you have to do the religious traditional practices in order to be that, right? Christianity for me, or whatever religion, right? Hopefully for other individuals, is more about the experience that you're having with that God or that being, right? Or whatever you define it as, rather than doing something. And if you miss it, then oh my God, I gotta start all over again. I gotta do this all over again. So to me, Christianity is an experience, and I just prefer to be with somebody who is going to be a part of that experience. So you talked about a little bit earlier when you mentioned your girlfriend or your ex-girlfriend, how relationships are really successful when they are partnerships. Yeah. Right. And so I want my partner to do kind of the same things for me. If you think about a partnership, we're linked at the arm, and we're doing certain things like, you might be, you'll help me with this or I'll help you with this, but if we're going in two different directions, how can we actually be partners? Yeah. So that's just my logic. However, I don't look down on anybody because of it. I have a lot of friends that are not Christians. I have one really good best friend that doesn't believe in anything at all. So we've had discussions about like why it is I believe what I believe and why she believes what she believes, and we agree to disagree, but we still respect each other. And I try to the best of my ability to be able to live out what I believe is true. And I say I don't feel like I need to continue to talk about it personally.
So the thing is like one of the things that really like just like kind of like, I don't know, what really blew my mind about the first one I had a situation with was that the whole time we were dating, it was like we had like conflicts of interest with certain things, and it was even like dealing with like that for like having like a marriage, a wedding, having a wedding and everything. And I was like, I'd rather like not spend the money on the wedding, but I would be cool with having a reception to celebrate people that helped us with our relationship and helped us in our life and stuff. That's what it's about, right? That's what receptions are for, because the wedding is really isn't that long, and it's really just not.
It's the formality.
But then everybody really just cares about the reception. So I was like, we can have a dope reception, and then we just talking about like compromising with it. So I was like, yeah, we can do that. We'll do it, blah blah blah, whatever. So, but like the thing is, like even though she was really willing about weddings in the beginning, then she eventually then we eventually came to a compromise about it, So that's what we always were, was like compromising about stuff.
Yeah, a relationship is.
That's how it should have been, right? And so that's how I was like really surprised, because when it came to that religious thing popping up, and it was just like
that's huge, though.
I know, but still, it was just like
there's no compromising on
But the thing is, I think the issue was that the church she started going to, it was a lot of like old people there, and like they was like on her head about old people, we have their old like thoughts, traditional mindset about a lot of stuff, and they was like, well, if he doesn't believe in the same thing you do or pray to the same God than you do, then it's not the same. Or it's something like I can tell what she was saying came from some old people. But I'm like, we're in a generation like we think differently, we're in a generation where we're very open with religion. Yeah. And then even just like what you're saying, you have a best friend who's not even religious. Yeah. But you got it cool.
Okay, here's what the difference for me personally. So outside of being unequally yoked and maybe compromising on certain things like Christmas versus not celebrating Christmas, but that's just an example.
Yeah.
One of the other things about being equally yoked personally to me is that the Bible says, right now I don't want to sound like a pastor, but the Bible says that pretty much your husband or whatever should lead the household, right? He is the head of the household, and you submit to him. And I had a really hard time grasping that concept of submission. So I talked to my pastor about it when I used to live in Seattle, and was asking him, I can't understand or wrap my mind around the term of submitting to my husband, because why am I submitting to somebody? What if he decides to go off in left field or do something that I don't agree with for the household? Am I supposed to submit to that? And his response was, if you are dating somebody who is equally yoked to you and is also aligned with God, right? So you think about marriage, so they say, right, it's supposed to be a soul tie. But in the middle of the soul tie, obviously, is God. So you have God, you have yourself, and then you have the other person. You come together and now you're one.
Right.
So in that case, if we're equally aligned, if my husband is praying to God, God is also giving him answers for me too. But when we're spiritually split, you're praying to one person, I'm praying to another person. Are you being spiritually led for me? You might be spiritually led, but it might just be for you and your own, whatever you have going on. You're not hearing maybe the same messages or the same guidance that maybe God is giving you for me. Does that make sense? So when we're talking about submission, and I know that's really deep, but when we're talking about submission, me personally, I don't know if I can submit to somebody who is not spiritually aligned with the same person that I hope is giving him answers as he's giving me answers. Does that make sense? I know it's just like God, super your face. Does it make sense, or does that not make sense at all? I'm trying to like.
No, I mean,
I'm trying to explain to the best of my ability, not getting you obviously to agree with it, because once again, if it doesn't make sense to you, it doesn't make sense to you. It just this is if somebody were to ask me that I'm dating, why can't we be together after we've had this conversation? This is the explanation that I would give to them.
I mean,
I digress.
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense when you talk about it in that aspect, you know.
Yeah.
I guess it makes. I mean, it's just kind of think it's interesting, the whole thing with the. I mean, I would think more of it being like, I guess, like both people getting answers and then
coming together. That's a good one.
Because you think about it, we technically all have our own individual spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it really shouldn't be like you relying on him, relying on whatever. It should kind of be like you rely on you get yours. Because I mean, if you still do. You still do. You still get your own answers as well. You don't necessarily rely on him for all your answers, right? But sometimes, if you're supposed to submit to somebody, sometimes even let's just move the religion away from the conversation. If I'm with you or with whomever, a man wants his ego stroked. A man wants somebody who is going to be with a woman who is going to encourage his decisions or support his decisions. A man does not want somebody who tells his woman to tell him that that's a bad idea or don't do that or why are you choosing to remodel this house or why are you choosing that you want to, just small stuff, right? A man does not want that. He wants his woman to make him feel good and be aligned with that. Well, decision making and spirituality sometimes go hand in hand. Right.
Does that?
No, I get you.
So now we're talking about moving religion away from it. If I'm supposed to be in support of your decisions, I need to make sure that you're grounded enough to make decisions that I feel like I would be in support of.
Okay, I get you.
That's it. That's it.
That's all. If he has a good foundation, you can trust that foundation, and then you'll support that foundation.
There we go.
I get that.
There we go. That's it. Taking all the spiritual. Because when I start going into it, people are like, "What in the world are you talking about?" That doesn't make any sense. So yes, just bare bones.
Definitely.
Bare bones.
Trust
decision making.
That's what I have to do. I do that in the clinic.
Trust is all that it is.
It's like one of the craziest things about being, being like a doctoral student is having to take what you've learned within the past few years and not saying that at all. So like we're thinking. So when we have conversations, not like say you're a doctoral student, whatever. We have conversations. Like when me and my brother Dave will talk about certain things, we'll talk like how we've learned it. Because that's what we have. That's why it's like that's why we're getting we're closer because we can have those type of conversations and we'll understand each other.
Yeah.
And so, but the thing is, it's like, but then when it comes to like a patient, we have to like talk like they're a child.
You have to break it down.
Yeah. And so like the thing is, so we have like terms like radiculopathy and sciatica and those specific nerve entrapment and stuff, right? And so we have to explain to them like, oh, well, your spine is like this, and this is coming out, or this is pushing the nerve.
Yeah.
That's causing a compression of the nerve, which causes the sharpshooting pain that goes down. Yeah. That's called a radiculopathy. That's the name. Just so you know that one. But everything else, we have to like layman's term. Because even with certain things, when it comes to like the disc in your spine, the disc we relate it to a donut.
Yeah.
So you tell them it's like a donut and the jelly is oozing out.
Yeah.
And then it's causing compression on the nerve.
Yeah.
So like,
I think a part of obviously effective communication is being able to have conversations with different groups of people, right? So being able to learn something in the most sophisticated, educated format and being able to rip that apart and explain it to different various groups of people, whether it's obviously somebody who's on your same team or whether it's somebody who has no idea any of the medical terms.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing.
Yeah. So
that sounds like spirituality. Let's take that away. Now let's talk about just bare bones.
Yeah, exactly. Conversations, like that's why it's like these conversations are always gonna be different than the conversations I have with other people or whatever. And then like even with terms with like the stage players, like the terms that people use when they're. Cause I remember having a conversation with somebody that did music, and they was like talking about it was a word that I used. I think it was like executive producer. And I was saying it's one definition, and he was like, "Oh, but in the music world, it means this." Yeah, and I was like, "That's crazy because like in stage plays, it's this."
Yeah.
And so like it's like just like those like terms, it's like very interesting that they have different definitions.
Yeah, I'm actually recruiting for a development manager right now, but for some people, it's executive vice president or executive something in charge, right? And there's an executive producer in charge. It's different types of people. So I definitely understand when you talk about translating obviously different things to different groups of people.
Okay, so we know that now you're having a great balance in your life right now, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the one before the one you're in now.
Okay.
Okay, so what did
I was trying to think about it. I'm like, who was that? I was sorry. I have to think about it.
Okay, so with that one, what growth did you get out of that relationship?
The biggest lesson I think I learned from that relationship was just not everything is what it seems like on paper. So I think for women specifically, and I can't speak for other women, let me just speak for myself. I feel like I went through a phase where obviously we talked about the first relationship I had was very toxic. It was very unhealthy. I had another relationship which that person was awesome, very much in love. Similar situation happening in regards to just like small little miscommunication, but then also we ended up going to schools in two different places, and then I ended up relocating to Los Angeles, so that just didn't work out. So then third relationship, which is the one before currently now. I had been through a phase of different types of people that I had dated, and I was like, okay, this is the type of person. I met him, obviously liked him a lot, but then thought, okay, dang, like these are the credentials that I think I'm supposed to have, right? This is the type of person I think I'm supposed to be with, and I think that would understand me and fit me well, and kind of just jumped into it. But then now looking back on it, it probably wasn't really a good personality fit. It probably wasn't the person that I should have ever really engaged with. So learning also too that taking time to just be friends and building a foundation of friendship before you even consider a romantic relationship is something that is really, really important to longevity. Because you can meet somebody and they can be a certain way for the first 3-4 months, But then after you pass like your 6 months or your year honeymoon phase, you start really seeing how people are, how they really think, how they really feel, how they interact with people. Those are like just things that to no fault on him, I just should have done a better job of really assessing the situation in its entirety instead of getting excited about little things and feeling like, okay, this is it, and it really wasn't.
Right. Yeah, that's very important. Being patient. So for me, the relationship that I had, that was my most successful relationship, was because I took my time.
Yeah.
And so I spent a whole year without giving a title. And so it was kind of like putting in, like weaning out, different people that weren't fitting me or whatever. And then the relationship that I had from high school, we had kind of got back together that summer of my first year, after my first year in college. And then we had broke up again, whatever. But she was like still around, of course. And then so I really had to, like, she was I had to like cut everybody off. And then I had to cut, she was the last one I had to cut off. It was really, really heavy, like to cut her off. I did it. And then so once that was done, then I was ready. Yeah. And so then, so I think going into I forgot when, we had started dating, I think my junior year. So going into my fourth year, I introduced her to a friend of mine as my girlfriend. Yeah. And so then she was really shocked. Oh. Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, this is my girlfriend. Because I never, I just always thought, oh, I just get the name, whatever. Yeah. And then so then this is the first time I introduced her as that. Right. And then so then, of course, she didn't she didn't react to it, but she told me later on, I was surprised. She was just so shocked. Because she was just really surprised that it finally happened, Yeah. And so the fact that she was just being patient with me, I was really grateful about that. But I was really serious about the situation. Because I had a friend who I took some great advice from, because he was dating somebody from from high school, and they were different colleges that were together. And he was saying that if you treat your girlfriend like your wife, then you don't have to make a transition when you do it.
Ooh, who said that? That needs to be on motherfucking quote.
Why are you the only person you the first person that's been happy about that?
That is true.
Because everybody else I said to this, no.
Who said that? I need wisdom.
Yeah, that's my homeboy. My homeboy said that.
Yes.
Jay Locking Socks.
Yes.
Yeah. So and so I took advice, and so that was what I did. So that's why I put in the work and made the sacrifices that I needed to do it. And then so then when she became my girlfriend, I thought of her as my wife. And so I committed to her that way.
And when you do that, a woman will treat you as a husband, right? When you're making that sacrifice as well, because this is what happens too many times. Even in my relationship now, I've had to have conversations with my boyfriend because he's Nigerian and culturally we kind of think of things differently. Yeah, right. So I'm obviously his girlfriend, but he wants wifely, and no shade to him because we've had this conversation in public or private as well. But I think sometimes he wants wifely benefits without the responsibility, right, of those benefits. And I'm trying to get him to see it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And if you want me to come up to that, then you need to treat me as a wife, right? So if you're going to treat me as a wife, then I'll adjust my behavior to treat you as a husband. But the Bible says, a man that findeth a woman findeth a good thing. So I need to see that you're in pursuit of me and that consistent behavior before I start kind of adjusting to that. And not saying that I'm not going to do great things for him, but it is that advice is great. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, it was really, really. I was really impressed with myself because I was at the point to where no one bothered me. No one there was nothing in my way. It was kind of I basically compared every woman to her, and nobody compared her. And so
what happened to this girl?
She got depressed.
That was the girl in Detroit?
Yeah.
Oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, I know. Now she has a son. I don't know about the father though. Okay, well
maybe that was your practice. Maybe it's you can practice and God teaches you some real valuable lessons and you just
But it was such an amazing relationship. I swear it was.
Everybody has some shit.
It was my first real love. First girl I ever was happy to hear about a missed period. Yeah.
Lord Jesus. Why did y'all did you not use protector? Were y'all?
Oh well, no, she was on birth control though. But it was a point when it was a point. I don't know. It was like I think maybe she was switching out or something. But it was like a point when she had just like was like, oh, I missed, it, but it came eventually. But but the thing is, like,
you wanted kids with her. That's what you're
yes,
saying.
that's what I'm saying. I was happy. Like when I heard that, I was like, yo.
Out here.
Because the thing is, I was
be trying to trap us. Y'all better run.
What?
Y'all better run. I don't play those games. Not at all.
I'm just saying, she was the first.
But she's the first person you.
I would have been so happy with having a child with. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, she got a kid now. You can go play stepdaddy.
I can't. Yo, you just go all over the Detroit to go play stepdaddy. Well, I got these responsibilities and just take care of. I got shit to do.
People do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like I said, we've talked about it. But it's just kind of like I don't know. I just think it's kind of. I feel like I'm kind of. I don't know why I feel kind of like I'm burdening her. Like trying to. I don't know. It feels weird to me, I guess.
I would say pray about it, but meditate on it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Whatever. Just put some more thought into it. And and while you're doing that, also look elsewhere.
I mean, like
your first love is the hardest to get over.
It's always
over. And once you do that, liberate yourself.
See, the thing is, the worst thing for me is that so she basically broke down my wall, right? Mm-hmm. And I've never been able to, build it back up, or even a part of it, even a fence. Someone said I should make a fence, but it's like I don't really want to. I feel like I think I'm lazy to do that. I feel like it's a lot of work to make a fence instead of a wall, so it's not as big.
I understand that.
Yeah. But it just seems like a lot to do. But I think maybe I'm just like, I come too far sometimes with some people. Because a lot of times, the women I talk to, there's a lot of them where it don't last like past a week. But a lot of times, it's that bad.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even do that. I mean, welcome to the world of dating in LA or just dating in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to people and it didn't last past a month. Those are just people that you're talking to. Don't get so emotionally invested so quickly in people. If I don't know what
I really don't.
What's your sign?
A Cancer.
Oh, that makes sense. This makes a lot of sense. You guys are very emotional individuals. And right now, there's like Mercury retrograde happening. So you're feeling like every single emotion, every single thing. You're like super emotionally involved in situations. So I think the best thing that I have done for myself personally as a woman in certain situations is taking my emotions out of it to think logically. Whether that means I need space from the situation or disengaging people. And there's different ways of disengaging people. So do you follow this girl on social media?
Which one?
The girl who you are like kind of in love with.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, so one of the techniques I use, I'm not saying unfollow her because that's corny, and if you guys have a friendship, then she's gonna say, "Why did you unfollow me?"
So the thing is, I actually did do this. I unfollowed everybody that I like had any history with in the past. Everybody that I've like the short-term people that I had like great first time, but then didn't last past the week.
Yeah.
I've unfollowed all of them. I've followed them before, but the thing is, like, now that I'm doing this talk show and stuff, I followed them back because I'm doing it for a different reason.
Okay.
It's more the network thing.
That's honest.
Yeah.
You can follow them. I would encourage you to put them on mute. I can show you how to do that if you're interested. But anyway, so essentially what it is you're still following them. They don't know. I mean, they still see you as a follower, but you don't see any of their stuff. You don't see any of their stories. You don't see any of their posts. So that way, because I think sometimes, just me personally, in the past, I have seen individuals post or stories and then my mind has immediately gone back to a thought of them or whatever the case is. So if you're trying to remove and take your emotions out of it, that's just like one of the many ways I think you can potentially, hopefully, it may help you in the long run. So you're not necessarily saying, I don't want to talk to you anymore, I'm going to follow you. You're just, hey, I don't necessarily want to see what's going on.
Okay.
With you, but you don't know that.
That's smart. Yeah. Because I've done but when I did do all that unfollowing, it helps so much.
Because you don't have to constantly be bothered with what's going on in their life. Yeah, I totally agree. But yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily a super emotional person, so. But I would definitely say just try to see if there's different practices you can, I don't know, create to emotionally remove yourself from individuals until they have proven to be worthy of your time and energy.
No, you're right.
Easier said than done, right?
Yeah.
Way easier said than done. But as a woman, I feel like I have to do that too sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
I think it's just like, also the thing is like for me, like even with the short terms I've learned with everyone.
Yeah.
And so like I usually just take in what I get from them each time I talk, even if it's just short, whatever, I learn something. And so so it's been a lot, but it's been really, really like educational. And like, yeah, so that's the positive thing about this situation. But I mean, the thing is, even with me, just like because the religious thing, I know I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
And so it's like hard to even try.
Yeah.
And so because the thing is like with that, it's like I feel like that, and then just like trying to, I mean, it's just like the other stuff I got going on, and just, I mean, it's not like I'm too focused on my stuff, whatever, because it's like I have an issue with having conversations with people, but I don't know, I just think it's just, I think somebody said I was like relying, I guess like maybe putting too much of my stuff on them, and it was like somebody just recently, they were just like, you putting everything on me, whatever, with kind of like, but they gave advice back, and so like, how was the issue? They brought it up later. That I was.
So you putting what
what was going on in my life on them, but they were giving me advice about it when I was talking to them. But it was a friend I knew from high school, but it was like
I don't know obviously if this is what you're doing, but there could be instances where you're dating somebody and they literally take energy from you because they're constantly telling you their problems. Mm-hmm. And as any hopefully human being, if you're talking to me about what you're going through or whatever your issues are, my natural innate response is going to be able to try to give you some type of feedback or suggest things to you because I want to be a good human being. Yeah. I want to be a good friend. I want to show you that I care about you. Yeah. However, there is an extent in which if every time I come around you, mm-hmm. I feel as if you are constantly pulling from me emotionally and never actually reciprocating that emotional energy back into me, that's when it becomes a problem. So I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I have friendships like that where I've had to limit communication and really pick and choose when I'm around certain people because of the fact that it is emotionally exhausting. You know, what I've tried to learn too in dating with different people, and back to the guy that we were talking about that practices, he is a Buddhist. He's a Buddhist. We are really good friends to this day, but I also ask him for personal feedback, not in regards to dating, but just in general in feedback. And he has been very real and frank with me about certain situations. One of how I can be in a dating relationship because he knows. Yeah. And then two, like just as a friend, we've been friends for years, so asking for feedback and advice. And what I've learned is not to take it personal. Yeah. To be really receptive to feedback, to listen, assess, evaluate, and decide whether it's true or not. Yeah. Because sometimes perception is not always reality. Mm-hmm. Somebody could perceive something and you know in your heart that that's not what you did. Yeah. So in that instance, you throw the advice away. Right. But if multiple people may be saying the same thing about you, or you feel that in your heart, if somebody said it's true, then you assess, you evaluate and you figure out how to readjust. Yeah.
No, yeah, that's good. I mean, honestly, the thing is, it's like, I would like, even with all the ones in short terms or whatever, I rarely get any real feedback, and it kind of makes it hard for me to go off of those.
Because sometimes girls don't want to hurt people's feelings.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I had two recent ones that they gave me feedback for shit, like on me or whatever. Like, it was just like, I didn't know I was doing it, but apparently I guess I was, whatever the situations were. And so I didn't think, I didn't see it as that, but apparently I guess they were seeing it as that, and they was like, threw me off like crazy. But the thing is, at least I was like, okay, at least I got that out of that. Yeah. And figured it out and was like, okay, well, at least, so, I mean, that helped. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, feedback helps. It does. I get feedback every day. at work.
You know, I get feedback in the clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I was at a point before where I was kind of scared of feedback because I didn't necessarily. I felt like feedback maybe just my perception. I felt like feedback was negative sometimes. But, if you're telling me how to readjust something, that means that I'm not doing right, and then maybe you're judging who I am or my capabilities. But now I ask for feedback all the time, even if I don't get it. I'm in meetings, and at the end of each meeting, I go, "Do you have feedback?" And I take suggestions, and then I just readjust.
So like in the client, it's like I have times when I'll take the feedback and I'll listen because I'm really good at like making it seem like I'm, of course, making it show like I'm listening and stuff.
It seem like
but like you can see it. Like I'll take it all in. So
reality, I ain't listening to shit.
No, I can take it in though. I've gotten better with it, with me, my attention span, whatever. But so I take it in, and then there are times when, so like I'll have like my normal mind's like gets like depressed about it, like, oh man, you messed up on that, you messed up on that, like you do better than that, whatever, and then the ego jumps in like, stop being a little bitch basically, and just like, you're better than that, and you know better than that, things happen. You know what I'm saying? You made a mistake, it's okay, just keep moving on, like don't let this get to you.
Same thing.
so that happens.
No, same thing, it's a natural response, definitely.
So let's move on to the next question, okay? Alright, so from the 4 relationships that you had, or you currently having.
No, not currently. Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's talk about the ones you have, because so the thing is like, because it's not this. I mean, because it wouldn't be like post growth if you're still in it. So just I'm talking. So we're talking about just what 3 that you were.
Yeah. 3.
So from those 3, did you see any common growth within those 3 that you had?
Common growth. Ew. What kind of common growth have I had? A common growth, which I'm still learning, is how not to be selfish. That's like a huge one. So I think when we talk about relationships and examples, right? I think I grew up in a household where, how deep do you want to go? Okay, let's go on a quick question real quick. So I grew up, I'll be frank because I don't care. I grew up in a household where my mom was married to somebody who relapsed and was on drugs. I've seen domestic violence a lot. The police were at my house like every other week. And then eventually, he ended up going ghost, and we ended up in 2 shelters for a year span time, and then had to get back on our feet. Okay. So a lot of that childhood trauma really does influence the way that I move in relationships, and I think I have adopted the personality of actually being very opposite of my mom. So I felt like my mom growing up was too caring, too concerned about what other people had going on, was too quick to forgive, too quick to give to people financially, mentally, spiritually, whatever. Like, she had a best friend years ago when I was a child who was another woman, and she used to let the woman drive her car around pretty much while she was at work. And one day the lady asked her, could she use her car? And my mom said no for whatever reason, and they got into a huge argument. And so I think growing up and seeing the type of treatment that people receive when they're constantly giving and when they're constantly invested in other people encouraged me not to be that way at all. And now as an adult, I'm trying to navigate, okay, yes, you can be closed off to people. Yes, you can, pick and choose who you want to be involved with. But at what point, if you do meet your husband and he's treating you as a wife, do you open up that wall or open up your heart and really give to them? Because it has to be a reciprocal relationship. I can't constantly take from people emotionally, physically, monetarily, and then give nothing in exchange, right? Or even if I'm giving, is it enough? Is it also what they need too? So that's something I'm still constantly learning, and honestly, something that I have to constantly continue to be aware of to try to not do those things, if that makes sense. But that's where I'm at right now. I potentially, will look into going to counseling just to make sure, because I think I'm at a point now where if I do continue to be in a relationship, or let's say for whatever reason, if I move and transition relationships, I want to make sure that I'm at a point where I'm not bringing my past childhood baggage to a marriage, right? Like that's not the desire, that's not the goal. The good thing about it is I am cognitively aware of where I'm at and the reasons why I do things, which I think is the start, because some people just act and they don't understand why they do things that they do.
Right.
I definitely got that part. It's just more so trying to figure out who I should do it with. Because not everybody is still gonna get that same type of treatment. But and then if I can't give to you, or if I can't trust you, then I don't need to be with you.
Right.
And then make that assessment as well. So I hope they answered your question. Very long-winded, but
no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's great that you know what's going, like you know your situation and what's going on with that.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing, because then after that you can grow from it, because you actually know what was the source of the things that are going on with you. Because everybody has their issues, and not everybody wants to acknowledge their issues. I mean, because like for me, it's like me and my brothers, and we have a sister. We were adopted, so our parents our mom was sick, and our dad they were separated. And so our dad killed himself when I was like 11, and then so I was hearing stories about him, like, from my family, and I kind of resented him because I was like, I thought he like ran from, because it's like, dude, when they get, exactly. And then I heard that it wasn't the first time. And so I was just like hearing about all of that, like, cause like when my grandmother died, he ran off to the military, and then when so my mom was sick, but he thought she was crazy, so he left. But I didn't know that. I thought he just ran. I eventually found out from I have a really close cousin who's like my little brother, and his dad and my dad were really close. So they hung out. His mom, my auntie, and her sisters, my other aunties, and my uncle, they all hung out with my dad and my mom. So they knew how they were, how she was. And so they all thought she was crazy, but then they thought she was crazy, and that was why my dad left. But it was actually that she was sick. And it was part of the symptoms. And that was like a big regret for them. Because I found out that my grandmother on my dad's side is bedridden right now. And so my mom passed I want to say like 2 Februaries ago. And but before she passed, my grandmother was like, "Oh, your father, before he died, he wanted me to pass on a message saying that he was sorry and regretted leaving your mother because he thought she was crazy and not sick." And I was like, and then so what happened was I ended up telling my mom. This before, and then right after that she passed.
So do you feel like she needed that, to release her?
I feel like she really, because I feel like, honestly, I see it as I kind of it makes me realize I don't want to have regrets in life. And I see that my parents had a lot of regrets when it came to a lot of things. And then when it came to my father and him leaving my mother and stuff, I was resisted for it, of course. But when I had my heart broken in college, I was the same. I wanted to run. I literally, I couldn't be around her, and it was really hard. And so
you started to understand more as you got older.
And then there was a point in time when I did a meditation and talked to him, and so we kind of came to a conclusion. I finally understood where he was with the situation. And then after that, just kind of that whole chip just left.
That's good.
And then what else? Dang, what else was I going to talk about relationships? Whatever. I can't remember.
It's okay.
Right. So anyway, so growing up, so our great aunt raised me and Dom, and so he was the oldest. So of course he was the first experiment with her, and then I was the one that was spoiled. And so the thing is, of course, you don't know that. You don't realize how it was until you get older. And so Dom was the one that explained it to me, whatever. Not the nicest way, but he still did. But of course, at the time, so when I came home permanently, it was kind of at the point where I kind of was looked at as the responsible one in the house. and then but then like Don was like putting all this stuff on me about what was going on like growing up, and so he kind of made me feel bad about it, about what was going on. So I kind of supported him more than I should have, and so it was like a learning experience with him and me supporting him in ways that I probably shouldn't have, because I did kind of regret the situation doing what I did, but like it was like something, because I kind of, it made me, because I kind of like felt bad because of how he was raised over how I was raised.
Yeah.
But it's like something I really couldn't help.
Yeah.
But as years been going on and stuff, I've been learning like not to, I've been, I'm sitting there like, okay, it's nothing I can do
not to
about
overcompensate for certain
Yeah. And so the thing is, like, I try to have conversations with my mom about it, but she doesn't want to be open about everything. But I can tell her like, well, you did do this, so just acknowledge it. She likes to like try to make sense of it, and she's like, well, she doesn't have excuses, but at the end of the day, it's just like getting it off the chest and like having conversations. Yeah. And I think that helps. But then like just getting the knowledge of what was going on, it definitely makes it easier for me to figure out like how I was, I was like, how you were impacted. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, learning that I was spoiled kind of taught me to like try not to be spoiled now. Right. and then like the thing is like how I have like more responsibilities for my family to kind of like. Because as the youngest, you're not really supposed to have the responsibility. You're supposed to just be chilling all the time. But like I have to have them, so I can't even do that. Like, it's not supposed to be my role, but I have to have that role now. So it just kind of like pushes me to keep going, and like that helps though, because that gives me more of a purpose. And, like,
definitely. Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree 100%.
Okay, so all right, actually, so then my next question is about. All right, actually, yeah. So this is a good one. So would you say that you grow more from relationships or other factors in your life?
Well, I can give you two different answers, right? Okay. The first answer that comes to mind is everything is a relationship. Mm-hmm. Every interaction you have with a person is a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, a working relationship, right? Like whether it's a professor that you need to pass a class or a boss that you need to collect that check. Right. Everything is a working relationship. So I would definitely say in that context, I've learned from relationships. Even the relationship with my mom. I've learned those types from that relationship, right? But if we're talking about like splitting that up into romantic relationships versus non-romantic relationships, then what have I learned more from? I definitely have learned more from other factors. Mm-hmm. Other factors being, my childhood. Other factors being more so, I think, work. Mm-hmm. Definitely shows me constantly, day in and day out, my strengths and my weaknesses as a person, whether it's communication, whether it's organization, whether it's being too prideful or always taking things personally. Those things definitely, I'm not saying people come to me and say, hey, you take these too personally, right? But I'll notice different things in different interactions that will kind of make me aware of like, okay, cool, I'm acting in this manner and I need to change the way that I'm acting, or I'm not organized enough, I need to change how organized I am. I need to change my method of communication. And what I think I'm learning in the phase that I am now is really adjusting to different personalities. Right, so I talk to people all the time and I always tell them, going to work is like going to school, right? You have, let's say, 5 or 6 different professors, and they all have different syllabus. They all have a different methodology or a different roadmap in which how you can successfully pass their class. Whether it's they want you to do this, they have a different syllabus. They have different directions and instructions. So your job as a student, outside of obviously learning the information, is learning how to navigate what they want to be successful. And that's the same thing at work. I have to learn how to navigate what my boss wants or what people want in order to be successful. I have to navigate what the person in the relationship, whoever I'm dating at the time, what they want in order for the relationship to be successful. The only difference between that and other relationships is I have a choice. So like I have a choice and I can constantly negotiate the terms and the agreements or the syllabus or the instructions.
Yeah.
If I don't like something, I can say I don't like this, I don't agree with it, can we change it?
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that is unfortunately sort of disposable. It can be, right?
Yeah.
You would hope that person is not disposable, and if they are, then obviously you should be with them. But that's the only thing to me that's sort of disposable, and I don't have to deal with if I don't feel like it. So I learn more from other situations that I have to actually be bothered with because my money, I gotta collect the bag.
Right.
Education, I had to finish it in order to get the diploma, so I learned more from that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
I gave you a good answer, but
no, that's fine. It's fine. Just no, there's nothing wrong with this. Yeah. But I see what you're saying. So like right now, even though I'm in school, but the phase I'm in school is I only have class for one day.
That's it.
And then I have clinic every other day.
Okay.
So I'm in the clinic in Northridge, at Costa Northridge, 3 days out the week, and then I'm at the clinic on campus at my school 1 day.
Okay.
And so the things, the ones in Northridge is the same person. So, and then the one, there's another person on that 1 day at school, and so it's two different people you have to, appease basically. And so like they will like have certain expectations. Like there are two different types. One is like a really chill old white man who thinks he's black. And then the other one is a old white lady who knows she's white. Which you get what I'm saying? Which you get that personality wise. Yeah. And so the thing is like the white lady has more like she had kind of expected more of me when I was in the clinic. It was just like a lot of stuff that I had going on that she was like looking at me like change it up or whatever. Yeah, change that, whatever. Because I had like 2 hoops in my ears, and she was just like, "Can you take that out?" She was like, "You're supposed to have one in each ear." And so I put one in this ear, and so now I have one in each ear. And like it's just like little things, like certain things that I had to like change and stuff like that. But then the guy was chill, cool. I have as many rings on as I want, but then the other one it's like 1 ring minimum.
You have to learn how to adjust,
And then like their methods are different as well when it comes to like the tech, like how we do things in a certain thing. But then also at the same time, going to school, it's a learning clinic, and so there's a lot more like specifics to what we do. Yeah. And so we gotta have to do it those ways. And there's a book manual that we have to go by and everything. But then when we're in the one in Northridge, a lot more relaxed. You get a lot of students. We barely get like faculty and stuff, whatever. And mostly you get a lot of students, and it's just like a really chill. And then like how we do our history, or how we do how like a person comes in and like follow a patient, and like those are all real simple. And you would print it out later, just like read that and like do it that way, and like. But it's like chill. Like you come to them, and then it's like also like how their personalities are. One is the lady is actually like because like I had some time off because I had suspended. So when I came back, it was like rough for me to transition back into it. Yeah. And so she's been really helpful because I've been like not trying to act like I know stuff because I don't, of course. But I like said like okay, well, I tried that, but it's like I don't. And so she's willing to help. And so I really like I'm really grateful for her because. Some people don't like her personality, but it's because they compared to her because they have the same type of personality. I'm used to the personality because like it's kind of like how my mom was or whatever, and like a lot of women that I kind of respect in my life that helped me grow with those type of personalities. Yeah. And so the things I'm used to that, and so I'm okay with that, and I can take it in and learn. Yeah. And so it's all, like I said, it's all perspective for sure. But it's like we were saying with the different methods and everybody has their own expectations for stuff and everything. But I definitely have learned a lot, just like the different experiences I've had with different people. And then even when I was in my relationship in college, like I was like in different clubs and organizations, and so I learned from I was interacting with so many people. Yeah. And so a lot of times you just like it's always like. When the day is over, y'all come together, and then you're like, "What did you learn? What did you do today? Oh, what did you do today?" And you just talk about it, and then we're like, so like we just like, "Oh yeah, okay," and then give advice or something like that, whatever about what's going on in my mind, and I ask them, "Oh yeah, so what do you think about if I should like do this or whatever?" Like so, so like most of the time, like you were saying, most of it is really those other factors that you can learn from than anything else.
I agree.
All right, so this next question. So what advice would you give someone who is going through a lot of relationships just for growth? Like just specifically aiming for that?
So they're just dating just to date?
Yeah. Or just like, I don't know, just like a lot of, I guess, maybe, just like.
Are they dating just to date? No, I just want to make sure I understand your question.
I mean,
they're dating just to see what's out there. And then based off of that, they just want to grow.
Yeah, maybe if it's just, I don't know, because maybe it's just like, I don't know. Let's just go for, it's like a term we use now about that.
Serial dating?
Yes, that's the term.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go for serial dating as like the topic, as like
serial dating.
What
advice would I give to people that serial dating?
Yes.
That's kind of hard because I never really serial date. I don't have.
But the thing is, so I see what you're saying. So the thing is, I'm saying for somebody that, so as a person that's not hasn't serial dated, like
what would I do?
What advice would you give somebody that is serial dating and try to like kind of like help them
live your life? Not so much like it. Live your life, sis. Schedule these men. Make one pay for brunch. Make one pay for lunch and dinner. You should have them scheduled out on the week. Should never have to pay for shit. No.
Get flown out. Make sure you get flown out at all times. You don't pay for shit.
That's too much. Yeah. Serial dating. I mean, just take your time. Take your time. Don't make any rash decisions quickly. What else would I say? Do your research, because when you're serial dating, you could potentially be dating somebody who knows you're the next guy who you might be actually serious with, which is an issue for some people. So if I'm dating an individual now and I know I'm not really trying to be serious with him, but 6 months or 7 months down the road I meet another person, they might be connected, and that might actually jeopardize my chances of building something serious with another person.
Yeah.
So just doing research and picking wisely on like who you're serial dating, and then if you are sexually engaging with them, be safe. Have open and honest conversations about what is actually happening and what's taking place. Try your best to learn and explore what you like and what you don't like in those types of situations. That would be my advice. It's hard because as a person, I don't really serial date just because I don't have the time and energy for it. It's already enough energy for me to really like and try to engage with one person. And the way my schedule is set up, I just don't have time for that. So serial dating would be maybe you just take me out to happy hour, but the texting multiple people, not mixing up names, that is difficult. That's a task.
That's how I think it's kind of rough.
I can't even text all my friends back, so I don't have time.
I got a lot of responses I need to get back to now at some point.
So that's a lot. But for people that can't do that, that's
I mean, I see it. I mean, I guess it's like, I mean, I would add on maybe, I mean, just, it's well, there's stages, so it's like, there's like the talking stage before the dating stage.
Absolutely.
And so it's like the talking stage is when you do all the weaning with the people and stuff, and that's when you do like the multi-texting and stuff and figuring out who
you want to talk to.
But then also at the same time, like you should probably, find some hobbies and stuff that you can do and like those things could be more priority to you, and then maybe see if they're either gonna be willing to do those things with you, or maybe just do those things and then see if they'll still be around.
Isn't that the talking phase stuff? Or isn't that? Don't you do that while you talk?
That's what I'm saying. Okay. Talking, because I was talking about like the serial dates, because that's the people that go jump into the relationships. Not to be like do the talking phase and take time with the talking phase. I'm talking about going. Just like you're saying, be patient and stuff.
Yeah.
Just like going off what you're saying about that, like kind of like saying expand the talking phase out and like if you got hobbies and stuff, like see if they're down to go with the hobbies and learn what you like to do, like what they like to do, and and then because the thing is at the end of the day, you may not like the same stuff. Yeah. And then just see like if they're willing to like still be there at the end of the day, if it lasts long or whatever, and just.
I mean, and it also depends on what you're trying to get out of it, right? Yeah. If you're just trying to talk to individuals just to talk to multiple people, then whatever. But if you are talking to multiple individuals because you eventually want to narrow down which one you want to be in a relationship with,
Yeah.
then I would also say have those difficult conversations up front about spirituality, or have conversations about like, do you want kids? Do I want kids? Right? Not saying obviously I'm talking to you, let's have kids or let's start our marriage,
right.
but just what are the goals and what is it do you want? Do you actually want to be in a relationship? Because a lot of times I think women more so than men will date people and never have that conversation, and then later on you find out that individual actually doesn't want a serious relationship at all.
Right.
So just having open communication and managing those expectations up front, so that way if you decide later on that you want to pursue that person, you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, everything.
Because I roll it out. First date, I got time for the BS. Here you go. Here's how I am.
Tell me
if you can't get down with it.
Give me your social security number. Give me your mama's name, your daddy's name.
We don't talk about social security. But we do talk about credit score.
Oh, really?
Well, I think this might be within like date 3.
Okay.
We do talk about credit scores, but you gotta understand, I'm not dating just to date. This is different.
Right.
If somebody's coming to me, I'm dating. You're a potential bae.
Yeah.
Let's get down to business. Do you have any STDs? If so, I need you to go get checked.
Right.
Like, this is just my process.
Yeah.
What's your credit score? If I'm not saying if you have a bad credit score, you can't date me. But what I am saying is, if you're trying to seriously pursue a relationship with me, we're gonna have to make some adjustments in financial plans. Let's create it together so you can get back on track. Because I'm not dating anybody that has fucked up credit. I'm not doing that.
Or at least,
not dating. I'm saying marrying. Sorry, not dating. I'm
Right.
not marrying anybody with effed up credit. This is also considering that this is a serious person,
Yeah.
not just somebody I'm just talking.
Right. I mean, because when you get married, then like, doesn't like
Yes.
bond?
Yes.
Yeah,
It does. Yes, it does.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, that fucks that out.
For example, if you're with somebody, let's say you're with somebody and you have a child, and you decide you don't want to pay child support, the government could come after your girlfriend, not your girlfriend, your wife, to pay your child support for you.
Wow.
So yes,
That's
those types of So we talking about
the guys never win those cases. Guys
it
never.
It doesn't matter about winning. It matters about the fact that if you don't pay, and a lot of people don't pay.
Right.
Then who is at fault? Who then becomes financially responsible? Right. So those are the things. What's your background? Do you got a felony? Yeah. Because sometimes when you have felonies, you can't apply for certain apartment buildings. Those sound very crazy to ask straight off the gate, but for obvious reasons that we talked about earlier. With my childhood, I don't play that. Yeah. I ask all those questions up front. Now the going out and hanging out and going and find stuff that we like to do together, we can explore that as time progresses. But I need to know these basic things up front. So I'm extreme though. I'm extreme case. That's why everybody can't date me. I know I'm extra. That's just where I'm at in life.
You make me feel like I'm just like a child.
How?
Like I'm not over like dating as a grown up. I'm just wanna have fun. Like let's have some fun. Let's go up to the beach. Let's go hiking. She's just like, here's like a folder. Let me look through this shit and tell me what you got going on first, and then we can go hiking.
Pretty much. That's pretty much where I'm at. It takes a very unique type of person to date me. I know that. I'm very.
Let me get your resume first before we get this started. What you got going on?
Your references.
References. Is this your mama? Nah. I need somebody that's not related to you.
I definitely pull references. Not real references, but so a definition of a reference in your case would be somebody that is in your close/immediate circle that I can have conversations with that will vouch for you. Okay. So I need to know personality wise. I need to have probably also hung around you a few different times in order to determine if I like the way you act, even if you're not really. You're in my presence, but let's say if we're starting off and there's really no mutual interest at first. I want to see the way you carry yourself. So I do pull references. I also check medicine cabinets. There's nothing going on that beneath the surface. So I've done some crazy stuff. Admittedly.
So have you seen bad medicine? What are What's like an X in the medicine cabinet for you?
I mean, I've never found anything crazy, but I can't even say. I don't even want to say. All I'm saying is, if I see something, I'm gonna look it up. And if I look it up and it's treating something that we have not discussed, we're gonna have a conversation about it. See something, say something. Absolutely. I'm gonna ask you. So
I get that. I mean, so cause the relationship I was in college, my roommate, two of my close friends, and those ones that she was talking to, and they actually were the ones that kept her around.
Yeah.
Cause like she was just like, why isn't he saying nothing yet? And they was just like, give him time, like be patient. And then she'd be upset all the time, but I don't be knowing it, of course. But she talked to them about me and stuff, whatever. But so luckily they made sure that she was still around for me when I was ready.
Oh lordy, that sounds good.
Yeah. So nowadays my circle's so really small, so most of the time they know my brother, and so they're cool. If they're cool with Dom, everybody likes Dom though. So. But if Dom don't talk too much mess about me, then I'm usually pretty good.
It's fine. I've never heard him say anything bad about you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we never like dated, so that's the difference.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry, I thought you meant just like around people that are in the circle.
No. I'm talking about like if it was like a girl I was talking to.
Got you.
Of course they would want to figure out and get the dirt or whatever.
Got you.
They would probably ask. Because I hang out with Dom a lot, so they would ask. Probably on the side, like about me, something like that, you know. So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily smart though, because I don't think that somebody's brother would sell them out, even if they were a bad person. You don't think so?
I'm just nah. I don't know. I feel like Dom has a price.
I'm not even gonna dig into that question. Okay.
No, I'm just playing. We support each other though.
Yeah.
I mean, all my siblings, we already support each other.
What's up?
Yeah, so it works out well. I guess we'll see how it goes. My life turns around. But Chanise,
yes.
This has been a really like humorous conversation.
I like to think, bring a little humor to the table.
Coming from Buddhism.
Oh my God! Fuck.
To credit scores.
Buddhist.
Yeah, but overall though, it was really great conversation.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
For coming in.
No problem, and definitely reach back out to me if you ever need anything.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you. Please say bye. Thank you for watching the episode. Before you go, please subscribe and hit that bell so you can get notifications. Because I know you don't want me to continuously send you DMs and text messages every week. Instead, you can just get notifications every time I upload an episode Sundays, and then when I upload my midweekly rants on Wednesdays. Thank you and have a good day.